Bitcoin just broke down our weekly value trend line, and I believe that the chances to see a strong reversal to the upside are quite low. And that's exactly what I'm breaking down for you in today's video, because although everyone is now talking about the ISM, I'm gonna show you some much more reliable data showing that we are actually in the bear market. On top of that, we are going to check some key crypto charts such as Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and ZCash. Crucial price setups and the most relevant market news you need to stay ahead. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and check out some of my recent uploads. Now let's jump straight into the core of today's content. Over the weekend, we saw Bitcoin crash as further as 78,000 level. During this entire bull run, we have been following the price of Bitcoin, validating our weekly cycles in which our valid trend line has been touched several times. But right now, it is different. The price has actually aggressively broken down our value trend line on the weekly time frame. This is a strong confirmation that our blue forecast right here is already been confirmed and the other forecast can already be discarded. As you can see, the price is already heading down into the yearly cycle low. And on the weekly time frame, I'm going to continue to follow along the price, respecting the new weekly value trend line to the downside, in which I believe the price will try to retest it. Because if you take a look at the coin market cap, we are actually repeating what happened in 2022. After the confirmation of the weekly cycle low, we retested the yearly value trend line and we went as further down as less than 1 trillion in market cap at around 2023. And if you take a look right here, this is exactly what we are repeating again. We had the weekly cycle confirmation and then we retested the yearly value trend line. It was aggressively rejected to the downside, and now we are following back to the yearly cycle low. So this is the current situation of the crypto market in general. Later on in this video, I'm going to break down for you what's going on with Ethereum, Solana, and XRP, so stay tuned. And again, like and subscribe. The rotation that we were expecting that would happen from gold into Bitcoin, it seems like it is going to be delayed, just like it happened at the end of 2022. If we take a look right here, we were sideways for a couple of months, and that's exactly what I believe is going to happen again. Back at the mid of 2022, the Bitcoin Gold relationship was sideways. And after we broke out with not a lot of volume, the yearly trend line, we fell again, making the retest of the yearly trend line to the upside. And only after that, we started the bull market again, in which Bitcoin started to take over gold. And I believe this is going to happen again. We are going to go sideways for a couple of months, retest the value trend line on the weekly time frame, and then perhaps at the end of 2026 and beginning of 2027 we are going to see the reclaiming of the bull market for the crypto industry, which makes me think that the price of Bitcoin especially, it is going to continue to trend down. If you have been following this channel long enough, I like to play the transparency game. I was holding a long position right here on Bitcoin, in which the stop loss was right below the weekly value trend line. This was my line in the sand. If we cross this line like we just had, this would mean to me that we are actually going to continue the bear market, and we'll get ready to have more bearish setups. So yes guys, as you can see right here, we got stopped out. Later in this channel, I'm going to make a video about risk management, so stay tuned. What I am expecting right now is to see how the price is going to behave over the upcoming days, because right now we are getting a convergence with both weekly and daily cycles. So I'm curious to see if the price is going to break out again in the value trend line on the daily cycle and perhaps retest the weekly trend line. If we get to this point of retesting this weekly trend line, I'm going to get ready to have a short position right here. And although I still see many people talking about a bullish scenario for Bitcoin using the ISM, I really don't think this is going to be the case. Nevertheless, there are some data that I'm looking for in order to have more bearish confirmation, or if we are going to start reversing aggressively into a bullish scenario. The first one is the Global Liquidity Index and the M2 growth and borrowing rate. Yes, we have seen a breakout in the M2 global liquidity, but like I always said in my videos, the M2 growth and borrowing rate recovered a little bit, and I said that if we continue to recover to the upside, or at least hold this line, we can expect a bullish scenario for Bitcoin, which of course did not happen. As you can see right here, the M2 growth and borrowing rate actually went down. And from what you see, the price went down along with it. So it seems that the M2 rate is actually on a downtrend. So what I do expect for now for further loss for the M2 growth and borrowing rate, which is also going to make the price continue to further down. And remember about this ISM thing, keep in mind that at the end of 2025, everyone was talking about the M2 Global Liquidity Index. It got invalidated. But remember, here on my channel, I always talked about the M2 Global Liquidity along with the M2 growth and borrowing rate. So that's why you see that I still tracking it. But after that, we got the 50 weekly moving average. It also got invalidated. After that, we got the delay between gold and Bitcoin of 90 days. Also invalidated. And right now, the biggest narrative is the ISM. But I always try to be critical about it. What does ISM has to do with Bitcoin? Come on. What do you think? Because here is what the ISM or the PMI actually means. It's a monthly economic indicator measuring manufacturing and services health based on surveys of supply chain executives. I mean, come on guys, this is entirely away from crypto. This has absolutely no cause and effect with Bitcoin or crypto in general. It can be an economic indicator to show the health of the economy. But again, you cannot see this isolated. Like I always do in my videos, I still believe that we are in a recession. I have been saying this since the end of last year. Labor market is getting worse and worse. Even the US government is considering another shutdown, or was considering recently. Take into effect they are also hiding more economic data. So yeah, I don't think so. I don't think this is going to be a bullish scenario for Bitcoin. And this also might be an invalidation for those crypto influences out there. But again, I can be wrong. And if I am, I will definitely tell you guys here in the video. But for now, I don't think there's any causation between ISM and the crypto market. From what I see right here on the ETF net inflow, we see that inflow is already to decrease and the outflow is increasing. Last time we saw this, the price continued to drop. So if this continues, yes, price of crypto market in general will continue to drop. But I'll continue to monitor the cost basis for ETFs. As it is already crossed the cost basis, I would expect the price of Bitcoin to chop a little bit around this line, just like we had back in July and October of 2024. So similarly, I think it is going to be a consolidation to the downside of Bitcoin in general without sharp drops. I also expect this to continue ranging within the fear and greed index, right here on the fear and extreme fear levels. This is going to show that the market continues to go down and further consolidation to the downside. Now, more market volatility this year. Trump officially selects Kevin Warsh as a new Fed chair. What does it mean? Well, number one, he served as a Fed governor during the 2008 financial crisis, and he provided practical crisis management to Wall Street. Number two, he has a strong Wall Street background and prior Fed service, so he is one of the most institutionally credible among Trump's potential nominees. Number three, he proposes reducing the Fed bloated $7 trillion balance sheet while lowering rates to redirect benefits from Wall Street to Main Street. People say that in general, Warsh is more hawkish compared to Powell. However, recently he stated that Trump was right to be pushing the Fed publicly. He also criticized the Fed for not cutting rates faster. So the market is still trying to price in how this is going to play out. Meanwhile, we still see the narrative of a bearish scenario for the world in general. United Nations is at the risk of a financial collapse. This brings uncertainty and volatility to the market. Now let's talk about the impact of all of that into some altcoins. From my last video, I said that if Ethereum crossed either this line or this line, this will be a bullish confirmation and this one will be a bearish confirmation. Guess what? It crossed the 2,600 and now I am bearish on Ethereum. I would expect the price to rise back up into this level, maybe up until the value trend line on the weekly, so I can place a short position and see the price continue to go down. XRP was already following along with the value trend line on the weekly time frame within the daily and the weekly cycle lows. However, curiously, it did not break down the value trend line on the weekly time frame. So can we see some perhaps recovery from XRP? Maybe. Who knows? Nevertheless, I will continue to watch it. Solana is having a similar behavior as Ethereum. Crossed the 118 level on a daily cycle window and now I expect it to retest this level before continue to move down. No changes into our position in ZCash. The daily cycle low has already been confirmed as well as the weekly cycle low. And from what I see right here, both the weekly cycle lows are already confirming a bearish scenario. Now I want to hear you guys. Do you think that the ISM might be actually the last chance for Bitcoin to recover aggressively, or we are actually doomed to the bear market? Tell me what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.